Hey guys, I am Puddles, and today we're doing part 20 in our encounter building series. I've done a couple of videos on how to challenge our tanks and our healers and support casters, and today we're going to our spellcasters. So, wizards, sorcerers, warlocks, druids, clerics, they can do some crazy things, especially higher levels. And a lot of the time, one spell completely destroys an encounter or just mitigates all of your careful planning. And while this isn't necessarily a bad thing, if it happens over and over again, it's not very fun. So this is going to be a video on how we can challenge these spellcasters and sort of get the most out of a combat with them. So let's get into it. First things first, I will say this in almost every one of these videos, limit rests. The reason that these different classes are so powerful is because they have spells. If you go through all of your spells, you don't have any spells anymore. So you can stop them from getting them back by stopping their rests. That's the simplest and easiest way to deal with or challenge spellcasters. If they're getting to the end of their line with their spells, they're gonna start worrying. So you could also like burn the spells using like puzzles or challenges. If the wizard has to cast levitate to get everyone over a cliff, or he has to dispel magic on a trap, he's burning those resources that he can't use in a combat. So those are the things to limit the spells that they have in said combat. While they're in combat, you want your monsters to target spellcasters. Usually they're squishier, usually they're in the back, and it would make sense that intelligent creatures would attack spellcasters. Maybe if they're not intelligent, I wouldn't worry about it, but if you're trying to challenge your players, then definitely have them attack the spellcasters. Have your counter spell ready. If they're gonna shoot a fireball that's gonna kill half of your battle, counterspell it. They're gonna hate it, but that's the mechanic of the game. They can also do counterspell if they have it. They can counterspell your counterspell if they want to blow 2 spells. But it's obviously it's a thing. Like these characters have a lot of power in the spells that they can do, and it would make sense in a world of magic that creatures would try to stop that. Another thing to do is to have damage immunities and resistances. If you've got a player who's shooting lightning bolts willy-nilly, that's all they do, have them fight something that's immune to lightning damage or resistant to lightning damage. And they're just going to waste a spell slot trying to lightning bolt it. You can also have magic immunities and resistances. There are some creatures that have immunities to low-level spells. There are some that roll their saving throws with advantage. These are all things that you can put into your combat to challenge your spellcasters. You could have anti-magic specific spells. So things like silence. If you cast silence on your wizard and they can't cast any spells, you could cast dispel magic on any things that they have they're concentrating on. You could cast Globe of Invulnerability, which basically means that any spell below a 5th level spell just doesn't do anything when it goes for that creature. So those are all like different spells and things to like stop them from casting, or to slow their casting down, or to make them move into a position where they're like more open. But yeah, those are different spells that you can use. And lastly, you can give your creatures the Mage Slayer feat. So this is a feat that if any creature casts a spell within 5 feet of you, you can attack it. And you have advantage on breaking concentration. And I think there was one more thing that I've forgotten. But basically, it just makes them really good at killing casters. So you have a creature that gets super close to your casters. They're already rolling with disadvantage because there's someone within 5 feet of them. And then whenever they cast a spell, they get hit. So that's pretty strong that you could like put on some orcs or something that's really close to them. But that would be like something that I wouldn't necessarily do unless I really, really wanted to make them pay, or really have a drawn out, horrible wizard killing fight, which can be a good thing in the challenge of your spellcasters. But that's basically it. Now, I'm gonna put this disclaimer at the end of all of these videos. I would not recommend doing this every single time. There should be a varied amount of combats that are all different. But if there is one combat in specific that you want to challenge your spellcasters, these are the things that you can do. Don't do this every single fight and frustrate your spellcasters. There should also be fights where they shine. But yeah, that's that. I hope it has been helpful, and I hope you've enjoyed. And thanks.